by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to Citi Field in Queens, borough of Queens, outside New York. The skies are gray, but the rain has stopped, and it's supposed to stay away tonight as Noah Syndergaard, the 22-year-old from Mansfield, Texas, part of the Blue Jays organization. That's where he started, runs out to the hill, now looking to take it to his former team. Let's take a look at the Toronto Blue Jays lineup. They've won 11 in a row. They're 34-30 for John Gibbons, who makes his way back from home plate. They'll go with Jose Reyes at the top of the order. He's got himself an 11-game hit streak. Josh Donaldson in interleague action is hitting .385 with 5 homers and 8 runs batted in. Jose Bautista in right. Edwin Encarnacion will play at first base tonight. Chris Colabello in left. Deanna Navarro behind the plate. Kevin Pillar in center. Ryan Goins at center against the Red Sox. 6 for 14 with 9 runs batted in. He's at second base. And Mark Buehrle is on the hill for the Blue Jays, facing the kid.
Yeah, we get a chance to see Mark Buehrle hit once again, but he's going to have to be dialing it up because Noah Syndergaard, the young fireballer for the New York Mets, will take the mound. He took the loss in the Mets 5-0 whitewashing by the Giants in his last start. He pitched 6 innings, allowing 4 runs. Only one of them was earned on 10 hits. Struck out 2 and walked 1. This marked the first time in his 6 career starts that Syndergaard did not strike out at least 5 batters. We all know about him being a draft pick for the Toronto Blue Jays and the big trade that came over from Toronto to the New York Mets. He is the 5th pitcher drafted by the Blue Jays in that 2010 draft to appear in the major leagues already.
And defensively behind Syndergaard, Michael Kadire will be in left field. Juan Lagares in center. John Mayberry Jr. patrols right. In the infield, it's Ruben Tejada at third. Wilmer Flores, the shortstop. Dilson Herrera is the second baseman. Lucas Duda is the first baseman. And Kevin Plawecki will catch the youngster Noah Syndergaard.
There is a lot of room here at Citi Field in center field, so you need a good center fielder, and they have one, the Mets. That's Juan Lagares. Lagares finished second among Major League outfielders in defensive runs saved with 28. He won his first Gold Glove last year. He is a very special defender here for the Mets.
Well, the tarp came off the field around 20 after 6. The ground crew went to work. And according to satellite, the weather has moved out of the way, and it should be a good night for baseball. Stepping in is Jose Reyes with an 11-game hit streak. The former New York Met got a very nice hand.
How about the nice hand that he got from the fans here at Citi Field?
First pitch from Syndergaard is their first strike, and this ball game's underway. Cranked it up at 97 miles an hour to begin.
You know, but for the Blue Jays, the harder the better. They love it. There's the fans coming out to thank Jose Reyes for what he meant to this organization and this team.
The 0-2 fights that off. In fact, just below our broadcast location is a fan wearing a Jose Reyes Mets jersey.
I saw a couple of those already tonight. I saw some R.A. Dickey Mets jerseys.
The 0-2 sweeps across the outside. This is 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That is something to look for tonight from Noah Syndergaard, where he throws that 2-strike pitch. He loves that ball away, especially the fastball. He's going to try and make you reach for it.
The 1-2, Reyes again fouls it back. Well, this is something we've seen from Blue Jays batters, and we're seeing it right off the hop, is making pitchers throw pitches.
I thought the Blue Jays did an outstanding job in the series in Boston of really making the Red Sox pitchers throw a lot of pitches, long at bats, really grinding them down. Don't you think that Jose Reyes wants to do something special in his return here?
One ball, 2 strikes. And Syndergaard gets his first strikeout victim, and it's the former New York Mets player, Jose Reyes.
How about that? 98 miles an hour away. Again, that's where he likes to deal with 2 strikes, down and away. The average on the fastball is just 235. He gets most of his strikeouts on that fastball away. 24% of those. And a lot of Ks on those pitches outside.
Inside, the batter's Josh Donaldson, hitting .315, 17 homers, 45 runs batted in.
Well, it's always important, I think, for a pitcher, especially a young one, to establish the fastball. And this kid's got a good one, and he will do that. Fastball changeup, his breaking ball is starting to come around, but it's still it's not polished right now. He can't throw it where he needs to. He's very inconsistent with it.
Curveball, and that misses.
And that was it right there. Just off the plate. And as a hitter, if you know that he cannot get that breaking ball over, you can sit on that fastball.
Donaldson, fly ball right field. Back forward is Mayberry. He makes the out.
Let's take a little closer look at tonight's pitcher for the New York Mets, Noah Syndergaard, and what he features. There's the fastball, and it's a big one. Look at that, 97 miles an hour. He averages about 97 with it, and he'll throw it 2 out of 3 pitches. Curveball is his second most frequently used pitch, but it's one that's a little bit inconsistent, and he's working on a changeup. The changeup is starting to come right now. That changeup is almost like an average fastball at 87 miles an hour.
And he throws an off-speed pitch to start off Jose Bautista. Bautista's hitting .246, 11 homers, 38 runs batted in.
Looked like he tried to turn a fastball over a little bit. That was a little bit too hard for a changeup. But you got to figure that he's excited and he's amped up.
Inside.
Wanting to prove himself to the organization that let him go. Terry Collins was talking about that after yesterday's game, talking about this one right here, that he feels like his young starter might be a little excited, a little fired up to face the Blue Jays.
Curveball again, so he's trying to stay away from the fastball with Bautista. 3-1. The 3-1. Bautista launches that left field, no doubt. Home run, Bautista on the fastball. He turned on that quickly, and the Jays jump out 1-0.
Well, you see why he was trying to stay away from the fastball? Wow. Jose Bautista turns on that 3-1 heater. Told you the Blue Jays love hitting fastballs. 93 plus. They've got the 3rd best average. They've hit 50 points higher than the Major League average on fastballs, 93 plus. And Jose Bautista shows you why. He likes it with one swing.
And interesting, Greg and Jamie were talking about in the pregame show on Blue Jays Central that Bautista did not hit a home run in one of his favorite parks, Fenway. Comes here to Citi Field, and it's bye-bye.
His first swing here at Citi Field is a long one, and I mean a long one.
Fouled up by Encarnacion. Drifting back is Lewicki. He could not get to it. It's behind the netting.
It was really interesting. We were talking in the opening about the Blue Jays and how they scored all those runs in Boston and how they had the 43 hits, but they only scored in 9 of the 29 innings that they hit, and they only hit 3 home runs, 1 in each game. So they bunched their hits together. They came up with clutch 2-out hits.
Fouled back by Encarnacion.
I'll tell you, everywhere we went today in this ballpark, everybody was talking about the Blue Jays hitting. Boy, you guys are really hitting. You're really thumping it. You know, they're putting together good at-bats. They're having good at-bats. They're making that pitcher work.
Well, and I think you summed it up very nicely, too, in Boston. they got the train rolling and just let it keep on rolling.
Keep passing that torch to the next guy. Put together good at-bats and good things are going to happen.
That Encarnacion right over.
He might want to step out a little bit and take a deep breath.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 1 run is in. Curveball missing. "21 pitches to this point for Syndergaard. Encarnacion rips that. Foul. Oh, and it's a Bautista fan, a Blue Jay fan, who picks it up.
I hope he had his glove on for that one.
Oh, no. Look.
That was a missile.
Oh, he took it off the bicep. Yeah, there it is. The pipes. Knocked it down with the pipes. And a walk.
You know, take a look at the fastball. These are starters in Major League Baseball, and who throws the hardest? Well, it's Noah Syndergaard. He's averaging about 97 miles an hour. We'll see Matt Harvey tomorrow night. A couple of young flamethrowers for the New York Mets, Nathan Eovaldi and Yordano Ventura. And again, Major League hitters don't mind how hard you throw if it's straight. If you can command the pitch, and if you can't get your breaking ball over, they will sit on fastballs, and they can turn around good fastballs.
This one, a very soft line drive over the head of Herrera. Going from first to third is Encarnacion, as Chris Colabello wastes no time in just popping that over the second baseman's head.
You know, Rob, it's the guys, the pitchers who can sink the ball, and they can throw the breaking ball in fastball counts, and they can cut the ball and keep it down and away. If you throw 97 and it's straight and it's right down the middle, big league hitters can hit that. That's what they are paid to do.
So Colabello continues pretty impressive run, hitting .343 coming in, and adds to it with a single. Deanna Navarro, the catcher tonight, hitting .244. Looking for his first home run. He's got runners at the corners with 2 out. And waiting, he just stood there. As Zani said, Statue of Liberty, wait and see what he serves him up.
Yeah, let's see what he's got. Let's inventory what the ball looks like coming out of his hand. And right now they're making him work exactly what they needed to do.
Last appearance for Navarro was June 10th against Miami. Came in to pinch hit. Two and 0 count. Looks at a strike. Fastball. The 2-1. Navarro looks at another strike. Again, another fastball.
Yeah, reach back for a little something extra. 99 miles an hour. And you can see Navarro doesn't agree with that call, but it's right down at the bottom of the strike zone at 99. Look for it again.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. 1 run is scored. Navarro fouls it away.
See where the catcher set up with 2 strikes. He wanted that ball away one more time. That strikeouts by the fastball location, it's 3 times more likely to go outside than right down the middle. 4 times more likely to go outside than inside. So if you're a hitter, sit out there. Look for the pitch out there.
Fouled back again. Another fastball. Oh, came off speed with the curveball. Counts full.
You know, Navarro has always come up with some big hits for the Blue Jays. You can see him patient. He had breaking ball in the back of his mind right there, able to lay off of that one to run the count full. And now Colabello will get a jump at first base.
The 3-2. There goes Colabello. Swing and a miss is Navarro, and that ends a 32-pitch first inning for Syndergaard. He got the first two batters, but then Jose Bautista launched one into left field to give the Jays a 1-0 lead. Collins has inked this lineup. Juan Legares, the center fielder, starts things off. Ruben Tejada. Michael Kadire, the veteran, his career against Mark Buehrle. He's .318, 3 homers, 13 runs batted in. First baseman's Lucas Duda, and he, in his last 4 games, is 5 for 14 with 3 runs batted in. Wilmer Flores at short. Right fielder John Mayberry Jr. Dilson Herrera is the second baseman. Kevin Plawecki is the catcher. And Noah Syndergaard, the pitcher.
That is the lineup that Mark Buehrle will face. Mark is unbeaten in his past 3 starts. He comes into this game tonight with 30 wins in interleague play. That's the most among active pitchers. This is his 5th career start versus the Mets. All 4 came in 2012 when he was a member of the Miami Marlins. He has yet to pick up a win, losing 3 of his 4 games despite pitching in the 7th in 3 of those games against the Mets. You know, the Blue Jays, in fact, have not won in New York. Here in Queens.
Yeah, an 0 for 9. Fly ball right field. Back is Jose Bautista, who got the home run. The top of the inning, he makes the first out. And let's look at the Jays' defense against the Mets. The outfield, Colabello in left, Pilar in center, and the man who just made the catch, Jose Bautista, in right field. Encarnacion gets the start at first with Goins at second, Reyes the shortstop, and Josh Donaldson at third. Behind the plate, it's Diana Navarro catching Mark Buehrle.
And how about Jose Reyes? First time back as a member of the Blue Jays. He played 9 years here as a Met. Still holds a lot of New York Met records. Most triples, 99. Stolen bases in a season with 78. Consecutive games with a stolen base, 6.
And Ruben Tejada, third baseman.
He's got a couple more. You know, Jose Reyes had 370 stolen bases as a New York Met. Still a team record.
Tejada skies it, but it will just go out of play. It hit a fan just in the front row. Tejada hitting .268. Got 1 home run, driven in 10. Drives this ball into center field. Shaded perfectly was Pilar who makes the out. 2 fly ball outs for Buehrle.
And that was vintage Mark Buehrle right there. The last time we saw him on the road, he was throwing that game at Washington, that complete game 9-inning shutout. That was vintage by using that changeup down and away. He's been cutting the fastball much better into the right-handers. He's been using his changeup a lot better, and he's just making quality pitches.
Facing Michael Kadire. Kadire made his major league debut in 2001 with Minnesota.
I'm sure Mr. Michael Kadire's got a few at-bats against Mark Buehrle in his career.
Pretty good career numbers. Hit 3 homers, driven in 13.
He's had 110 at-bats against Mark Buehrle. 3 home runs and 35 hits.
Big swing, took a cut at that.
That comes from Mark Buehrle pitching in American League Central when he was with the White Sox, and Kadire with Minnesota. So he knows all about Buehrle.
Terrific pitch by Buehrle as he gets him swinging. 81-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. Kadire. Fly ball. Back goes Bautista at the warning track. Pulls it in. 3 fly ball outs for Buehrle. 3 up, 3 down, an inning in the books, and the Jays lead 1-0.
Anthopoulos' first draft as a general manager. Aaron Sanchez was 34th overall. Noah Syndergaard 38th overall. Dalton Pompey came in the 16th round for the Blue Jays. I mentioned that they've had 5 pitchers from that draft pitch in the big leagues. Sanchez, Sammy Dyson, Sean Nolan, Asher Wojciechowski, and now Syndergaard. You know who else the Blue Jays drafted that year? 2 picks after Dalton Pompey, Chris Bryant.
Oh, jeez.
From the Chicago Cubs. He was a high school player back then, and obviously didn't sign, went back to college, went to college and back into the draft, and here he is playing third base for the Cubs. So a pretty successful draft for Alex Anthopoulos and the crew from the Blue Jays.
Kevin Pillar, Ryan Goins, and Mark Buehrle due up against Syndergaard. Pillar's hitting .251, 4 homers, 29 runs batted in. They may have noticed already that the Mets are not wearing their usual uniforms. This is Military Monday, where they salute men and women in uniform and wear the camo. Pillar, fly ball, right field, backing up is Mayberry. A couple of steps back, makes the out. Well, you talked about the deal, and it was a huge deal in December 2012.
Yeah, there are the players that were involved in that. The Jays got R.A. Dickey, Mike Nickias, and Josh Tolley, a couple of catchers. Josh has been with the Blue Jays now in AAA. Mike Nickias has retired. He's out of baseball. But the Mets got Noah Syndergaard and Travis d'Arnaud, the 2 top players at that time in the Blue Jays organization. d'Arnaud was number 1. Syndergaard was number 2. John Buck also went in there. Wilmer Becerra. And I asked some of the Mets people about Buehrle today, and they said he's finally starting to get it together. He was a very young player. I think he was something like 17 years old when he was traded. He's starting to get it together in A-ball for the Mets. So I think both teams got what they wanted out of the trade. Blue Jays got a #1 starter in Dickey, and the Mets got a makeover with some young players.
Darno hit a 2-run homer yesterday. Victory over Atlanta. Ryan Goins, 1 ball, 1 strike, up high. Now with his Nordic good looks, guys here in the Mets have nicknamed Syndergaard Thor.
Thor, and he looks like Thor, doesn't he?
And
also,
he names his gloves.
It's Thor.
Yeah. Well, he's got 4. He's got Thor, Lion, Drago, and then he's got Heisenberg.
That's the names of his gloves.
Yeah.
All right. I thought he might have been named Thor because of his hammer curveball.
That could be it,
with
too.
The hammer?
He says that's not a bad thing to be named after the god of thunder. 3-1. Ground ball rolling towards second, and Herrera, he makes the play. So 2 down, and now the pitcher Mark Buehrle with his very impressive .333 batting average comes to the plate.
That, my friend, was built on that game in Washington, if you remember that, when Mark did just about everything. He threw a 9-inning shutout against Washington, and as a batter, he had a single his first time up. He also had a sacrifice bunt. He also made contact his third time up. He got some at-bats that day.
Looked at a 97-mile-an-hour fastball and looks at a pitch away. Another fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike.
He also had a strikeout in that game. That's where his 1 for 3 came from, in that nice-looking batting average of .333.
Look at that, fouls it back. The fastball.
Oh, but then you put all the career numbers together.
I thought I should just emphasize the positive.
How about Buehrle's choking up right now with 2 strikes? How about that? This guy's just a baseball player. You got to choke up just a little bit. I'm going to shorten up. I'm trying to get myself a hit here.
The 2-2. Buehrle whiffs at it, and it's a 1-2-3, top of the second for Syndergaard and the Mets, with Toronto leading 1-0.
Thursday, and it's also a Blue Jays home game. They take on the Orioles at 1:07 p.m., so why not bring Dad to the game? Go to BlueJays.com for tickets. And speaking of Dad, sitting right behind me tonight in the first row is Mark Buehrle's parents, Father John, Mother Pat. They have been holding on for every pitch and every at-bat so far as Mark Buehrle is continuing to pitch so far well this season. They tell me that They get a little nervous watching them, but you can watch them throughout the game. The reactions are very good. Guys?
Buehrle into his second inning, had a 3-up, 3-down first, 13 pitches, facing Duda, Flores, and Mayberry Jr.
After all these years, they still get nervous when Mark pitches? Wow.
Grounded foul down the first base side. Duda's hitting 278.
I guess I would too. You know,
He was here, yeah.
this is a couple of times we have seen his parents come on the road now to watch him pitch. Yeah, they're very nice people.
Curved ball. This is 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Even though he hits left-handed, Lucas Duda has done a good job this year versus left-handed pitching. He comes into this game with a .345 average versus left-handers, and he's hit 4 of his 9 home runs against the lefties.
And he gets
not this time.
A leadoff walk.
Mark Buehrle did not get it going early in the season. You can see during his first 6 starts, an ERA over 6. Last 6 has been spectacular. ERA under 3, and opponent's batting average is .215. And it all has to do with his stuff. Early in the year, you didn't see a lot of movement on that cutter. A lot of pitches were up in the strike zone. He has battled, he has worked. He is healthy, and he's on a roll right now.
Now facing Wilmer Flores as Duda walked back to the dugout, wondering. It's an 86-mile-an-hour fastball, and right back to the pitcher, and he helps his own cause. 2 down. Buehrle is 7-4. He's had 9 seasons with a 500-plus record. 9.
Consistency.
Yeah.
When you talk about Mark Buehrle, you can almost book it. Just write it down in March while they're at spring training. He's going to make his starts. He's going to throw 200 innings. He's going to win 12 to 13, 14 games a year. He's going to go out there and he's going to give you everything he has. Some days he's got the outstanding stuff where he is dotting that I wherever he wants to. He can throw the ball wherever he wants to. And if he doesn't, he's going to battle you. And he's going to give you a heck of an effort.
Fouling it back is John Mayberry Jr., 219. The great thing about Buehrle is you don't have to worry about him wasting any time. From the time he usually gets the ball back from the catcher, 6 or 7 seconds. As long as the batter isn't adjusting, 6 or 7 seconds, and it's on the way again.
Well, he wants to stay in that nice rhythm. And there's
look at that. 2 strikeouts in this inning. He gets Duda and he gets Mayberry at 6 up, 6 down, and Dad and Mom are feeling pretty good. Reyes with an 11-game hit streak.
And look at some of these numbers that Jose has put up in the 11-game hit streak. A .362 batting average, an on-base percentage of .423. That's pretty good for a leadoff batter. He's slugging the ball. He's got that on-base plus slugging at .955, which is outstanding. And coincidentally, the Blue Jays have won every game that he has hit in. He's hit a home run. He's hit a couple of doubles. And he has just hammered that high fastball during the streak. Pitchers try and slip that one by him. Right around the belt, just above it, and he turns on it.
Oh, Reyes wishes he had that back. He just swiped at the pitch.
They know that he likes the fastball. That's a couple of changeups right there. And he's turning that ball over. Jose obviously is looking for the fastball. And he's not giving into him. There's the high fastball.
This one pops up into center field. Moving over was Lagares. He makes the out. So one down. Reyes still looking for a hit in his old stomping grounds. Josh Donaldson flied out to right first at bat. And they appeal down to first base.
You're seeing that a lot more often, aren't you? First pitch breaking balls to Josh Donaldson. Book getting around that, he'll jump all over that thing. So pitchers have started to throw breaking balls to him. Here's another one. In fastball counts.
I think maybe he might be just a little shy of throwing the fastball after what Bautista did with it.
Well, he can still throw the fastball. He can't run away from it. Just going to have to make a better pitch with it. He missed his spot to Jose. They wanted that fastball down and away. Thing leaked out over the plate, and Jose showed him.
He's thrown 3 straight off-speed pitches. Another one. 3-1. 4 breaking balls.
Yeah, eventually he's going to have to use the fastball. You can't run from it. That's his best weapon. You know, and there's nothing wrong with a well-placed fastball. Looks like he's throwing another changeup. You can see the grip in his glove as he starts his windup. That's a pitch that is starting to come around for him. It's not fully developed, that changeup, but it's got a chance to be a good one.
Got a piece of it, and that was the fastball.
And that one
that rattled Marty Foster.
You see him holding his jaw.
Yeah.
Right now, that'll rattle your cage.
Yeah.
A little bit. You can see the grip inside the glove there. That's a 4-seam fastball. Here it is.
Just got enough and right in the chops for Foster. Checking his molars. Boom. Trainer comes out just to make sure. Marty Foster, Mike Milchinsky, Mike Winters, and Mark Wegner, the umpiring crew. You're probably seeing some stars too.
Yeah. Trainers are coming out, and I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to continue.
Well, they want to make sure. 98 miles an hour, and Donaldson just got a piece of it to have it go back. Brian Chicklow's the assistant trainer for the Mets, and he's making sure Foster is okay.
Yeah, it looked like it pushed the jaw back, and being right around home plate, Noah Syndergaard cannot throw. He's just standing out there.
Let's go right down to field level. Barry Davis.
Thanks, Robin. It's a reminder here while Josh Donaldson waits to get back in the box that if you want him to be an all-star, you have to get voting. Don Cherry started the process this weekend on Coach's Corner, and we got to let you know, you got to go to BlueJays.com and vote as much as you can. You get 35 votes per email addressed. On last count, Josh Donaldson still trails Mike Moustakas, who has 6.5 million. Josh at 4.8 million, so it is a big gap. However, Donaldson received 2.5 million votes last week. That is the second most in the American League to Salvador Perez. But at this point, guys, we're still looking at an all-star team that will have 7 Kansas City Royals in the starting lineup. So it's up to you, the fans, to do something about that.
Marty Foster looks okay. He's just making sure he's finishing up, giving Syndergaard a couple of warm-up tosses. That's the Don Cherry effect. 2 million votes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get some of those Blue Jays in there. They're having a heck of a first half. Some of these guys. This guy right here deserves to start.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Just reaching out. Donaldson. And into right field again. That's 2 fly ball outs to right for Donaldson.
Much better breaking balls in that at bat from Noah Syndergaard against Josh Donaldson. A lot of confidence. 3-2. Threw him another breaking ball.
He threw him one fastball, and that was the one he fouled back. Jose Bautista hit a solo blast in the first inning. And that came with 2 out in the first.
You know, this Blue Jays team, offensively, they force those pitchers to throw breaking balls, because they hit the fastball so well. It's a changeup at 89 miles an hour. We saw that in yesterday's game against the Boston Red Sox when Eduardo Rodriguez was throwing so many fastballs and the Blue Jays were turning them around.
There's a breaking ball.
2-0 breaking ball, and it almost forces the opposition, the pitcher, to start going to a secondary stuff. What's Syndergaard's best pitch? Fastball. You're running away from it in the middle of the lineup here. Give him the green light.
The 3-0. 4-pitch walk. Well, the Blue Jays don't seem to be afraid, though, Tabby, of heat.
Well, this is the average versus fastballs that are 93 miles an hour or harder, faster, whatever you want to call it. The Angels have the best batting average. The Royals are tied with them. They're the Blue Jays at 308. That's what they hit when a pitcher throws a fastball harder than 93 miles an hour. Pretty impressive.
And a fastball to Encarnacion, who walked in the first inning.
And what's the difference between those top 2 teams and the Blue Jays when you talk about their offenses? Blue Jays have way more power than those 2 teams. So they're turning that thing around for extra base hits.
Takes a swipe at a curveball. 1 ball, no balls, 2 strikes, rather.
I'm sure the Blue Jays are making notes right now. Brooke Jacoby and Eric Owens, the hitting coaches, are making notes of what Syndergaard's doing now here in the second and the third inning.
The 0-2 goes down swinging. Well, a man left the board. That was Bautista after the walk. After 2.5, Blue Jays lead 1-0.
the sports masses as a new show premieres on Sportsnet. Connect online 24/7 at Tim and Sid. Guys, really looking forward to seeing what the two fellas are going to have in store for all of the viewers and listeners.
Yeah, Barry, I'm not sure if that's the promo or a warning to viewers. And there goes Marty Foster down the tunnel as he's going to the umpire's room. And they'll suit up another. Looks like Foster may be done. Training staff of the Mets brought him out a cup of water and looked maybe a couple of things for the knock in the head for the headache. Well, we've got this bit of a delay. Let's go back to Blue Jays Central and Jamie Campbell. Took a shot right in the mask. A pitch foul back by Donaldson. And right now Mark Wegner and Mike Machlinski are discussing it. Looks like Mike Winters will move from the second place umpire to the home plate umpire, replacing Marty Foster.
He is the crew chief, and this is what happened just last inning. That fastball to Josh Donaldson, and you can see right away Josh knew something was up. As that ball straight into the mask, you can see it really jammed up his jaw. He was complaining about the jaw being pushed back like that. And, you know, I'm glad he was able to finish the inning, because that is scary, very scary when your jaw gets moved like that. So right away, the crew chief, Mike Winters, after that half inning, went in to start changing to see if Marty Foster could finish. He cannot. And during the half inning here, he got the water from the training staff of the New York Mets and passed over the
scorecard, and off he goes. And, you know, for a precaution, that's great. You don't realize, too, there's not much protection. I mean, you can see that right now that Foster was wearing, you know, the chest protection. He's got the mask, but once it rattles into that cage, it can really cause some problems. Now Buehrle just trying to stay loose as we wait for Winters to come back. So a three-man crew.
Happens all the time, you know, where you work with a three-man crew. You'll see that in spring training a lot. Minor leagues, they use two-man crews, at times three-man crews. And unfortunately for the Blue Jays, they have to go out there and on the field and stand out there before the umpire takes his spot behind home plate.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
With Pat Tabler, Barry Davis, I'm Rob Folds in for vacationing Buck Martinez. 2 games for the Blue Jays against the Mets here at Citi Field, and then the Mets come to Toronto for 2 on Wednesday and Thursday.
So what do you do in these kind of instances here? What do you talk about? You're talking about all kind of stuff. What did you do last night when you got into New York City? How about talking to the fans? Chris Colabello has found some fans out in left field, some Met fans. That's awesome.
Well, we've got this moment. We'll take a quick timeout here at Citi Field. Let's have a chat about their time in New York. And here's Kevin Pillar and Jose Bautista having a nice discussion with the bullpen crew. It has been quite a run for the Toronto Blue Jays. They've won 11 in a row. Their earned run average 312. That's the same as the batting average. 8 runs per game, Tabby.
Only thing that can slow them down are these type of breaks right here by the umpires having to change their jobs. A 312 earned run average. Very impressive for the Blue Jays. A very good whip. How about the batting average, 312, the same as the ERA at 312, and averaging 8 runs a game. And you know, it's not just the home runs. They've hit the 18 and the 11. They've played great team defense. They've hit offensively. They've got a lot of hits, and they bunched them together, and they're pitching much better.
123 hits in that 11-game winning streak. And you said the defense. We saw defense from both those guys. Kevin Pillar made a couple of great saves, diving catches, and then we saw the beauty by Bautista to take a home run away. And that one, you just reached over the wall to steal it away.
And the Blue Jays don't sweep the Boston Red Sox. If it wasn't for defense from Jose Bautista taking that home run away, they don't get into extra innings and have a chance to win it later on without that great defense.
And tonight, the only run came from that man, Jose Bautista, and it left the park in a hurry.
And it went a long, long way. When you supply the power like Noah Syndergaard can, and then you've got the tremendous bat speed that Jose Bautista possesses, and when bat meets ball, it can go a long way. And that time it went in the second deck here. That's where Yoenis Cespedes was hitting all those home runs. Remember that during the home run hitting contest during the All-Star game here a couple of years ago? That's where he was hitting those bombs. Well, Bautista did it in a game.
And now trying to stay warm is Syndergaard. Quite a delay here. And for somebody who works so quickly like Mark Buehrle, you wonder if this will have an effect.
Yeah, this has got to be eating at him. He's just standing on the mound. It's been about 10 minutes now. Just standing on the mound, occasionally making some throws. And you're right, for a guy who wants to work quickly and get up, get down, I'm hoping this doesn't have an effect on him. He's facing 7, 8, 9 in the lineup for the New York Mets.
He's gone 6 up, 6 down through the first 2 innings of play. We'll come back with more action from Citi Field. The Jays in first and 2 against the Mets. Second base umpire, the crew chief, and he steps in for Marty Foster, who took a shot to the mask.
You know, he had to go back into the umpire's room and change. You can see the shoulder pads that they have. He's got a different type of shoe. You can see the shin guards. I mean, it's a whole big thing that they have to change. Each one of the umpires carry it with them because they are on that rotating business when they move around the infield. So he had to go all the way back in the umpire's room, put all the gear back on, so that's what took so long, but we're ready to go. He's the crew chief. And Mark Buehrle steps in and gets ready for inning number 3.
Herrera, Plawecki, and a ground ball rolling towards Reyes at short. And he makes the play. Now here's an interesting point. You know, Buehrle and Syndergaard had to get to know Marty Foster where his strike zone was. Now here comes Winters.
Yeah, and I like Marty Foster's strike zone from what I saw early on. Very consistent, a little bit wider, and that's good for Mark Buehrle. Mike Winters is an excellent umpire. He's ready to step in from second base behind the dish.
Kevin Plawecki is the catcher, hitting .211. 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in.
You know, we talked the last time we saw Mark Buehrle on the road like this. The number 8 hole is a very important batter to get. You want to get this guy right here so you can face the pitcher with 2 outs and nobody on.
This one is ripped down the left field line, foul into the seats.
If you lose him, then the pitcher will sacrifice that runner over, and then you've got to face a guy, if they are successful, with a runner at second base. There's Noah Syndergaard, who's already had a home run this year.
The 1-2 ground ball to short once again. Reyes very quickly the scoop and making play Encarnacion at first base and 2 ground ball outs, which brings up Syndergaard.
That is always a really good sign when you've got a Mark Buehrle pitch game and you're getting a lot of ground ball outs. 2 more this inning. You got fly ball outs in the first inning, but it's much better. That means that ball is diving down and he's keeping it down in the strike zone.
Syndergaard looks at a strike, fastball from Buehrle. He's got a .364 average, and as you mentioned, 1 under the home run category. Oh, breaking ball. He saw his knees buckle.
So throw him a breaking ball. I like it. He's a big guy. He's about 6'6", and he's a great athlete.
And he goes down swinging. Buehrle's been through the order. 9 up, 9 down. Jays lead 1-0.
First Rewards MasterCard. You'll earn 5,000 first-use bonus points redeemable for $50 off your next smartphone upgrade on a 2-year term with no annual fee. Apply today. Rob?
And lots of Blue Jay fans have made their way to New York City to see the Jays and the Mets. We'll see a lot of the Mets this week. 2 here, 2 in Toronto.
I think those fans just came down from Boston.
Some of them did. I think that guy, remember the guy with the Blue Jay hat?
Now, wait a minute. You got to give me more than that.
No, the
guy
Jay,
with the Blue Jay hat.
No, that looks like a Blue Jay. There.
Oh.
Was he not in Boston, that lid?
I do not recall.
I think that guy in that lid was there. That's distinctive.
I think you're right, big guy. So, yeah, Blue Jays really travel well.
Yeah.
A lot of fans.
It's great to see.
Wait till we get to Seattle. That is something to see. That is almost like a home game for the Blue Jays when they're in Seattle. You were signing autographs today for Blue Jay fans.
Fans from Regina, Saskatchewan. As Colabello starts things off, Navarro and Pilar. They thought I was Kevin Allen. I thought I was the king of Queens. Chris Single just dropped one in front of Mayberry over the second baseman's head in the first inning.
Take a look
at
probably
Kevin James, right?
Kevin
Allen.
I don't know. I thought that
was a friend of mine. Must be a friend of mine.
Been a friend.
Kevin James, you're right.
I thought you meant Kevin James from the King of Queens.
That's who I meant. Yeah.
All right. He was just on the big board.
Should have probably watched. Kevin James, thank you. Kevin Allen. Kevin Allen's the writer from USA Today.
I'll take your word for it.
And he'll be mad at me now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. All right, no more of that. No more pop cultural references for me. The 1-2.
Boy, he's throwing a lot of breaking balls. Second time through the lineup against all these right-handed hitters that the Blue Jays have. We're starting to see Noah Syndergaard start to use the old curveball a little bit more.
He's thrown 66 pitches, 38 for strikes. And the 2-2 gets him. And that's his 5th strikeout in the game. And let's join Jamie Campbell with an update. Ooh, could you imagine watching that and being in the listening to the radio or reading the newspaper in Boston this week? Deoner Navarro struck out to end the first inning. Shift is on for him.
Yeah, so he just has a token fake bunt right there against the Mets shift. Just to try and pull that third baseman in a little bit more. You mentioned the 5 strikeouts for Noah Syndergaard. He has had at least 5 strikeouts in every one of his big league starts except one. That was in his last start, where he only had 2 strikeouts against the San Francisco Giants. He gave up 10 hits. He's given up 10 hits in his last 2 starts. 10 in each of his last 2 starts. So 20 base hits in his last 10 innings of big league work heading into today.
Pops the fastball, 97 miles an hour for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, you know what? Get used to it. You're going to see hard throwers, starters, relievers this whole series against the Mets. You got Matt Harvey in tomorrow night's game. Their bullpen is full of guys who throw hard. So Blue Jays, just turn it up a notch. Get used to it.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Counts full.
You know, this is how they have turned their organization around. Drafted pitching, young pitching, traded for young pitching, and their hopes are hanging on all of these good young pitchers that they have.
Payoff pitch, and there's strikeout number 6.
Well, you can see this is the strikeout to walk ratio. That's what K to BB means. Strikeout to walk ratio. Noah Syndergaard, among rookies, has the best. Almost 6-to-1. That's 6 strikeouts for every walk. And this is nothing new for Noah. If you look at his splits and his numbers from the minor leagues, he's always been a guy, a rare guy, big, strong, hard thrower that has good command. In the minor leagues, he didn't walk a lot of batters, had a lot of strikeouts, a lot of innings, but had very good command. And those are the kind of guys that are special. Those hard-throwing guys who work on a downward plane that throw strikes and keep it in the strike zone.
Tonight, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, and he's ahead of Kevin Pilar.
Look at all the breaking balls. I think the Blue Jays are making note of all the off-speed pitches they're now seeing from Noah Syndergaard.
high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. His fastball misses.
It's almost like his fastball is for show right now, just to keep it in the back of the mind of the Blue Jays, and he's going to want to try and get him out now with the breaking ball.
The 1-2. Dropped down. Still alive is Pilar. And there was the breaking ball.
You know, Travis d'Arnaud just came back from the disabled list after a fractured pinky. And this breaking ball looked like it was fouled off and got the catcher, Pilecki. Yeah,
Ooh.
certainly did.
Dangerous spot right now behind the plate. Grounded to the left, rattled off the fence right in front of the Blue Jays dugout down the third base side. They're all awake now. Jordan Poulos and the staff. Okay, we're in it. One, two. Reaching out and striking out the side is Noah Syndergaard. 3 up, 3 down, all strikeouts. And that takes it to 3.5. The Blue Jays leading 1-0.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Looks like the skies are starting to clear up. It was a rainy Monday in the New York area, and now things are drying up. Second time through the order, Mark Buehrle facing the Mets. 9 up, 9 down. Juan Lagara has flied out to right to begin. Buehrle has struck out 3. Slow roller very quickly, and Encarnacion comes out and makes the tag. Brakes went on by Lagara. It's like, well, I'll wait here. Maybe you'll forget about me.
Mark Buehrle is dealing right now. He is throwing his curveball over for strikes. He is cutting the ball in on the right-handers. Again, he has won his last 3. He has thrown a complete game in his last 3. He's won his last on the road. He won 2 and he's lost 1. Remember that complete game that he threw in Houston that the Blue Jays lost that game. 4-2. A complete game in Minnesota, won that one, and then the complete game in Washington.
Fly ball center field. On the run, reaching up is Pilar, and a nice gallop by Pilar to pull that in from Ruben Tejada.
There again is a lot of room here in Citi Field. They've already brought the fences in a couple of times, but it's still a huge 408 to center field, so you've got a lot of room to roam, and Kevin Pilar knows that and just runs right through that one to make the catch. Well, they run that one through before they moved the fences in. You had to hit it in the seats to get a home run here. This was a total pitcher's ballpark when it first opened.
Michael Kadire flied out in his first trip. That ended the first inning. 2 balls, no strikes. First time that Buehrle's been behind on a hitter. .3-0. Finds the strike zone. 3 balls, 1 strike.
The synergy between Navarro and Buehrle have been a lot of fun to watch the last couple of years.
Ground ball. Buehrle knocks it down, having to come over his Goins. Quick throw. Makes the play. 1-4-3, and it's another 3 up, 3 down inning. 4 complete. Jays lead 1-0. Let's join Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn and an update from Blue Jays Central. And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and description for this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Citi Field, New York City. 22-year-old Noah Syndergaard has got 7 strikeouts. Only blemish was a solo blast by Jose Bautista in the first inning.
4 in a row. He has struck out the last 4 batters that he has faced, all swinging. Encarnacion, Colabello, Navarro, Pilar.
Goins, Buehrle, and Reyes duo.
Let's see if the Blue Jays make the adjustment now to young Noah Syndergaard.
Syndergaard now has thrown 80 pitches.
They have kept him right around 100, both in the minor leagues and here in the big leagues this season.
Roller to Flores, and he makes the play. Duda, that's 1 down.
So the Blue Jays doing a good job of making him work. They might get him out of here after 100 pitches or so. And if they make him work this inning, that might be this one.
Interesting. The last start, and this is in the Mets notes, took the loss in the Mets 5-0 defeat against the Giants. What's lost in all that is that was the no-hitter by Chris Heston.
Yeah, he was matched up against the guy throwing the no-no, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way. And here's Mark Buehrle. Struck out. This one he just tried to slap down the third baseline. taking all the way. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And looking at strikeout number 8. Syndergaard.
Second time that he has gotten Mark Buehrle. That time a well-placed fastball down and away. When the Blue Jays drafted Syndergaard, he was young. I don't even believe he was 18 years old, and they knew that he was going to grow, and he has really grown into his body. 6'6",
242.
242. The youngster, they took care of him when he was younger in the minor leagues. They didn't overwork him. And Aaron Sanchez, Justin Nickley, and all those pitchers that they took in that 2010 draft, they really took care of them as they grew into their bodies. And then when they got into their 20s, they started giving them a little bit more rope and letting them go a little bit deeper in their ball games.
You may hear it in the background. They're singing the Jose song. Jose, 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 Jose. Look for Jose Reyes. Reyes fouls it back. 2 top of 5. Jays leading 1-0. Here's another Reyes fan. One with the Blue Jays uni. Front row. Oh, he went after it. Trying to drag that down the line, get everybody moving. Reyes now 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I don't have a problem with that because he can steal a base. He was just trying to get aboard, figuring he had a better chance at running his way on. 2 outs and a guy up there who can't steal a base, that doesn't make any sense to get on. But with Reyes and his speed, he can run himself on, get in the scoring position with a stolen base and score on a single.
3-2. Got him looking. Strikeout number 9 for Syndergaard. And it's another 1-2-3 effort. 3 up, 3 down in the 4th, and now 3 up, 3 down in the 5th. 9 Ks for Syndergaard.
And radio. For daily coverage, headlines, analysis, and schedules, visit sportsnet.ca/Blue Jays or join the conversation at Sportsnet. Today on sportsnet.ca, you can reach Shai Davidi, and he has plenty of stuff regarding the Blue Jays, including his latest edition of 9 innings. Check it out right now on sportsnet.ca.
Scratching his beard, pondering what he shall write next. And Duda, Flores, Mayberry against a very effective Mark Buehrle. 12 up, 12 down. Duda called out on strikes to begin the 2nd. Very nice. Settled in for a strike. Ripped past Encarnacion as it took a bounce there. Fair ball. Racing after Bautista in the corner. And Duda will go in standing up to second base. First hit of the ball game against Buehrle. Leadoff double.
Told you that Lucas Duda coming into this game, it was hitting .345 versus left-handers. He stays right in there. Tries an off-speed pitch and gets a barrel on that one, and it's over the glove of Encarnacion. You see Edwin goes down. Just can't get the ball back up, or the glove back up fast enough as the ball gets by him for extra bases. And the Mets will start the fifth inning with a runner at second base.
Donaldson starting to creep in. Reaching out, trying to push that down the first base line was Flores. He grounded back to the pitcher in the second inning. The 1-1.
Trying to move that runner right here. I don't really want to see a right-handed batter run against a left-handed pitcher. As Flores fouls that ball. He's got 10 home runs and he's hitting fifth in the lineup. I'd try and play for the big inning. I wouldn't try and move the runner right here. I'd try and drive him in. If I were the Mets, you're at home, so you get the last at bat. I wouldn't give myself up here.
The 1-2, got him. Inside corner, and Buehrle gets his fourth strikeout.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
And a short drive from Manhattan to Queens and Citi Field, where Buehrle's got one out, man on second after a leadoff double. John Mayberry Jr. struck out in the second. He moves that around. There's a slider. One ball, one strike.
Just doesn't give in. He's got a base to work with now after the strikeout to Flores. So he can try and pitch around Mayberry if he wants to.
Mayberry sends this high center field. Pilar going back to second, tagging, and then just taking two steps and putting the brakes on with Duda. Two down. Saw Pilar make a very nice throw Fenway Park from center field.
Yeah, he leads his team in outfield assist with 5. He's throwing much better this year. He unloads quickly and accurately so far this season.
Dilson Herrera grounded out to short in his first trip to the plate. One ball, one strike. Ground ball. Donaldson comes over. Looked like he was trying to tag Duda. There's a little sweep, but he went to first to finish it off. Donaldson, there's a little olé, and then throws it to first to make sure.
We're going to continue it right now. If you want to see Josh Donaldson make it to the All-Star game, you have to get out and vote. Go to BlueJays.com. For every email address, you have 35 opportunities to send him to the All-Star game in Cincinnati on July 14th. And you can add another name to making guy making the charge. Actor Stephen Amell is actually sitting here tonight, a few rows behind me. He just tweeted to me that he is now beginning a huge push. He's going to start up a Facebook page as well. There's some big celebrities now behind Josh Donaldson looking to get him to Cincinnati in July.
Well, let me see if I can mess up this cultural reference. Is Stephen Amell in Arrow?
Yes, he is.
Yes! I can't get the King of Queens, but I can get Arrow.
Very good. Well, there's no question Josh Donaldson's going to be in Cincinnati for the All-Star game. We got to
He'll get the call.
The starter for sure. He certainly deserves that.
Blue Jays have won 11 in a row. Trying to make it 12, which would be a franchise record. They've equaled the franchise record of 11 straight. They did in 2013, 98, and 87. But during this streak, what's most important is where they put themselves in the American League East. One game back of New York and Tampa.
That's what it's all about right there. Winning ball games. They're doing it. They're scoring a ton of runs. As Donaldson swings through that fastball, over the last 20 years, only 4 teams have averaged 8 runs a game during win streaks of 10 or more. One of those teams was the Blue Jays. In 1998, Blue Jays averaged 8 runs or more in a 10-game win streak. If you remember that team, that was Jose Canseco, Sean Gree.
Whoa, some big hitters.
The 2002 A's did it. The 2004 Astros and the 2011 Tigers were also teams that had win streaks of 10 or more and averaged 8 runs a game.
2 balls, 2 strikes as the changeup misses against Donaldson. He's got 2 fly ball outs to right.
A little bit higher leg kick we're seeing now from Donaldson in this at bat.
Just got enough of it to foul it away. He misjudged the changeup. Lead off here in the 6th inning. Well, during this streak, it's been 8 runs per game during the 11-game win streak.
But over this season, look at that, they're averaging 5.5 runs a game, the best in Blue Jays history. And there are some really good offensive teams in that bunch right there.
Oh, got him looking. And that's number 10 for Syndergaard. And Donaldson's not happy. Continues to talk to Mike Winters.
That matches Noah Syndergaard's career high. Did that 2 starts ago. John Gibbons not happy. They want Mike Winters bring that ball up. They thought that ball was down also. Right there, fastball right down at the knees. Donaldson thinks it's ball 4, and he can't believe it's called a strike.
And brings to the plate a man who has put a dent in Syndergaard's evening, and that happened in the first inning, a solo blast to left field.
One more time from the side. And the camera's a little bit higher. You can see John Gibbons. He's got the good view from the side like that, saying, hey, get that ball up.
And he said down. It was down. Two one. Bautista puts the curveball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Been impressed with Syndergaard, the way he is starting to use his breaking ball just a little bit more. Everybody was saying that's a pitch that hasn't come yet.
Ground ball to short. Flores makes the play and gets Bautista. Now he's got 10 strikeouts tonight, this 22-year-old.
And that ties his career high. He is doing it with his fastball, his changeup, and his breaking ball. That is against Jose Reyes early in the ballgame. You can see you got to be ready for that fastball. You have to be ready to time it up. But he has started now in the middle inning, start to use the curveball just a little bit more, start to use the changeup just a little bit more. And that's a good combination.
Let me ask you now, he's had 105 pitches. Now Collins and pitching coach Dan Worthen start to go, how long do we let him go?
I think it's no question. This is his last inning. He's going to be batting next inning. They're second. Next inning, they've got a pitcher already warming up in the bullpen. And they like to keep it right around 100 pitches. You can see that in his bio.
Yeah, he's only got the 2 hits, and you just wonder, though.
97 with some sink now.
Yeah, you're right. We've got the bullpen going. Two out here in the 6th. Into the dirt. The curveball.
He has not given up a hit until the Chris Colabello single in the first inning. That's the last hit that he has given up tonight. In between that hit and now 9 strikeouts.
2-2, strikes him out. Strikeout number 11. The kid walks off with 11 Ks, but the Jays lead by 1.
Pizza, listen up. You can now become a member of the Junior Jays Club. Members receive a Blue Jays cap, stainless steel water bottle, and nylon wallet, as well as front-of-the-line access to run the bases. Membership cost is $24.99. Sign up today. Go to BlueJays.com/kids for more information. Rob?
I do not believe that is a regulation Major League hat. But this guy's been wearing a regulation Major League cap and pitching like a big leaguer. 11 Ks for Syndergaard. And there's the man he was dealt for, R.A. Dickey, who will play in Toronto on Thursday. It would be his scheduled start. Right now scheduled to face Bartolo Colon. Plawecki, pitcher spot, and Lagares. Siciliani is in the on-deck circle. Daryl Siciliani. Plawecki grounded out to short in the third inning. Earlier had retired the first 12 batters he faced. Reyes had to make a big looping throw. It pulled Encarnacion off the bag, and safe is Plawecki.
Jose has been really fielding really well of late. He will probably be charged with an error there. I don't know if Josh Donaldson might have distracted him a little bit or not. Watch it one more time. Anytime the third baseman can get over there and make the play, he has to. Donaldson goes down, but Reyes just airmails it, and that allows Plawecki to get in, and it's going to keep Syndergaard in the game.
So he had to tap Siciliani on the shoulder and say, no, I'm here again. I'm good.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Tell you, if he bunts this hard at Josh Donaldson, they have a chance for two.
A bunt. Buehrle goes to first and on to second. Plawecki. Syndergaard does his job with the bat. There you go.
He was standing in the dugout with his helmet on. Told by the manager, Terry Collins, if the runner gets on, you're going to hit and sacrifice him over and stay in the game.
Lagares is flied out and grounded out.
Mark wanted to rethink that one right there. Lagares is 0 for 2. He pitched around a leadoff double last inning. Let's see if he can pitch around a leadoff error this inning.
Changeup misses. 2 balls, no strikes. Plawecki is at second. 1 out. Plawecki, base hit left field. Plawecki will score. Rather, the hit is from Lagares. Lagares a double and an RBI, and the game's tied. So the error and then the sacrifice bunt gets the Mets on the board as Lagares has an RBI double.
They can't do it right there. Tough to pitch around an error with the number 8 guy coming up, because you're going to turn the lineup over, and Lagares was over this one. They wanted that cutter away when they wanted him to reach for it. You can see as it starts to make its way in. And he pulls it into left field for extra bases. That ends the consecutive scoreless streak on the road for Mark Buehrle at 22 consecutive innings of scoreless baseball on the road.
And it's 1-1. Now, base hit, drops in front, and gets by Bautista in right. Legares will score. Tejada very quickly puts the Mets ahead 2-1.
They haven't been hit the ball hard that time. Ruben Tejada inside out swing. That cutter, and you can see the inside out swing, and he keeps it fair. The ball gets by Bautista, but that's not an error. It's a double for Tejada. A tie-breaking double as Bautista tried to decoy that runner at second base to no avail.
All started with the error to Milwaukee. Sank bunt by Syndergaard. RBI double by Legares. Now an RBI double by Tejada. Michael Kadire. 2 runs have scored for the Mets in the bottom of the 6th. (2-0). 4 strike.
Good pitch. Down and away.
(2-2) now. Got that look at Syndergaard watching with a smile on his face, talking to another one of the young stars, Jacob deGrom. He was the Rookie of the Year in the National League. Apparently neither one has seen a barber in a while.
You know, I gotta believe. I can't believe they're going to send him back out there. They might have just left him in there to bunt, and then they'll double switch.
Ground ball. Donaldson comes over. Throw to first. Gets the man.
But the runner moves up to third base, 2 down. Right off the end of the bat, and Donaldson, keep your eye on that ball. The runner did nothing wrong jumping in front of him like that. Crossing paths like that, he didn't infringe on him trying to field that ground ball.
2 runs have scored. Tejada's 90 feet away. Carlos Torres is the right-hander warming up. Lucas Duda had a double his last at bat, a leadoff double, and stayed on the base paths. And this time he grounds right back to Encarnacion, and it will end a 6th inning where the Mets took advantage of an error, able to push 2 runs across. Mets lead the Jays 2-1 after 6. Deal was Noah Syndergaard, and this is his performance tonight through 6 innings, Tyler.
And he lit it up tonight. Just 2 hits. The last hit he gave up was a single to Chris Colabello in the first inning. He hit the home run. That's the only run 2 walks for Syndergaard, and 11 strikeouts, a career high 11 strikeouts for Noah Syndergaard. He did that in 109 pitches, and he was left in the game to pinch hit and sacrifice because they're playing with a short bench tonight, just 4 players on the bench, and so they do make that pitching change. This is Carlos Torres right here in 30 games, 2 or 3 with 395 earned run average, lively fastball with some heavy sink, a good curveball. Solid cutter, gets lots of grounders. There's the cutter right there.
You'll see Colabello, Navarro, and Pilar here in the top of the 7. The Mets leading by 1.
Boy, pretty impressive outing for Noah Syndergaard today. You knew he'd be fired up against the Blue Jays. He had that game 2 starts ago against San Diego where he struck out 10. So he joined Dwight Gooden as the only Mets 22 years or younger to strike out double digits and walk none in a game. I'd have to say that his future's pretty bright.
Whoa. Took an interesting bounce up into the crowd. It was interesting, too, to watch him work because it looked like he wasn't completely confident with his fastball early. Used a lot of breaking stuff, and then all of a sudden seemed to get control of it.
I think he realized very early, as soon as Bautista turned that fastball around, that he's going to have to use his secondary pitches to get outs. And it worked. Now it's up to this bullpen. And this is a good bullpen, too. A lot of good arms in that bullpen for the Mets. Their ERA in the National League out of that bullpen is the 3rd best.
Colabello looks at a breaking ball, curve ball, and he strikes out. That's the 12th strikeout by the Blue Jays. 11 Ks go to Syndergaard's side.
Well, he is in some rarefied air right now when you talk about Mets histories and pitchers. The most strikeouts through their first 7 games as a New York Met. How about Doc Gooden at 51, Nolan Ryan at 50, and tomorrow's starter Matt Harvey 49. There sits Noah Syndergaard with 45 strikeouts.
Yonder Navarro has struck out twice.
Boy, the Mets have had some flamethrowers, haven't they, over the years? And all those great pitchers that we showed up there on the screen, they have 1 no-hitter in their career. Johan Santana. And the catcher that day, Josh Tolley. How about that?
2 balls, 1 strike. Ground ball, pass first, but playing the shift perfectly, the Mets to make the play.
You mentioned some of the great players in Mets history. 41, of course, that's Tom Seaver. The great Tom Seaver. 14, Gil Hodges. 37, of course, that's Casey Stengel, their first manager. A lot of history here.
Kevin Pillar drives that right field but foul. 2 down with Torres now on the hill taking over from Syndergaard. Pillar with a strikeout and a flyout tonight. First of 4 games against the Mets. 2 here at Citi Field and 2 at Rogers Center. The Orioles will follow the Mets into Toronto.
Look who's in town.
Mr. Mets here. Ground ball short, and Flores, who is the man on the shift, gets a little more work as he throws out Pillar. 3 up, 3 down. Good work by Torres in relief. vacationing Buck Martinez. Mark Buehrle, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 4. Just thrown 73 pitches, but the error that started off the bottom of the 6th got it all going for the Mets. They were able to push 2 runs across.
Just could not pitch around that error. Pitched around a leadoff double the inning before that, which is a little bit more difficult.
And this is just a young-looking team, isn't it? You look at the baby face on Flores. Some of the other players they've got. Syndergaard's just 22.
This is their leading home run hitter right now. Wilmer Flores, their shortstop. He's hit 10. The only player in double digits in home runs for this team.
Right back to Buehrle. A little off balance, but able to control itself and make the play.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
John Mayberry Jr. steps in against Buehrle. Called out on strikes in the 2nd. Flied out to center in the 5th. It's a big swing from Mayberry. High fly ball, center field, and just a couple of steps over is Pilar to make the out. 2nd out of the inning. Buehrle now facing Dilson Herrera, second baseman. Drives that ball into left field. It will drop in front of Colabello. 2-out base hit for Herrera. It's a 21-year-old.
You're right. They have got some young players. They're using that farm system. And Herrera is going to be their second baseman. Daniel Murphy is their normal second baseman. He's been on the disabled list, and there's talk when he comes back that he will be the third baseman, and Herrera will keep that job. He's done a very nice job at second for the Mets.
Now the catcher, Kevin Plawecki, and he's just 24. Jerry Collins has got a lot of young guys to work with and watch them develop.
And there's more on the way for the Mets.
Buehrle just keeping Herrera close. Herrera does have a stolen base. Curtis Granderson in the on-deck circle because after Plawecki, pitcher spot is due up.
And you know, John Gibbons wants Mark Buehrle to get through this inning right here. He needs him to get through this inning. The pitcher spot is scheduled to bat second in the 8th inning. So he needs him to get through this inning right here so he can make the change that way. What's wrong with that pitch?
Wow. 4-pitch walk. Runners first and second, 2 out. Bottom of the 7th. First walk issued by Buehrle tonight.
I had the same thoughts after I saw that ball cross home plate. Was it off the plate? It looked like it was a strike. Now he's got to deal with Granderson.
And a strike to Granderson, who's hitting .249, 8 homers, 20 runs batted in. Granderson fouls it back.
And they're dealing with a short bench tonight. They only have 4 players on their bench. 2 right-handers, 2 left-handers. This is one of them right here. So they elect to bring in the veteran, Curtis Granderson, who has faced Buehrle in the past, trying to add to this lead right here.
Swing and a miss, and that ends the 7th inning. They leave 2 aboard. Buehrle trails by 1 as we head to the 8th inning in New York.
Injured Toronto Blue Jays. First of all, let's begin with Aaron Sanchez. He was placed on the DL yesterday, retro to his previous start. Good news here is that he went for an MRI, and it showed exactly what the Blue Jays had figured. It is a strained lat. No word yet if he'll be able to make his next start, but they are crossing their fingers and hoping he will. Tomorrow, it will be Scott Copeland making the start for him. Also, some news regarding Devin Travis. The rehab start began tonight in New Hampshire. John Gibbons tells me it's probably going to take him a few games at that rehab assignment because it has been so long since he's played a game. So maybe we can expect him within another week or so, and that's just one more big bat to add to this lineup, guys.
And there's a new man on the mound. It's Jack Leathersich.
Lots of changes coming now in this ball game. Leathersich in 14 games, no record, but a 186 earned run average. There's a new right fielder, Curtis Granderson. He will stay in the ball game and take over for John Mayberry Jr. in right field. Leathersich has got a good arm. Fastball touches 95, so the Blue Jays are going to counter that move with a move of their own.
Danny Valencia for Ryan Goins. Valencia gets under it. Calling for it is Legatus, and he'll make the out. And still trying to work a little magic here as Buehrle is done for the night. Going to the bench for Justin Smoak.
You know, you got to play your cards right here. Blue Jays have 4 players on the bench, and they know that the closer for the Mets is a right-hander, so you got to use those righties that you have right now. Justin Smoak homered in Boston, batting right-handed. His first time that he's homered this year as a right-handed batter. You're not going to pinch hit for anybody. 1 through 7. So John Gibbons is playing his hand right here in the 8th inning.
So Smoak 0-1. Takes up high.
Leathersich is not afraid of contact. Told you he's got a good fastball. He's got some natural running and tailing action. So tough to get the ball up in the air. That's why you see that very low earned run average.
And the Mets did make a move. Dylan G was sent out, designated for assignment, and they called up Akil Morris, a right-handed pitcher. Rolled into town today. This one, fly ball left field. Back it goes. Foul.
Oh boy, he just got out in front of that one by a hair. Had plenty of distance down the left field line. He just was a little bit too quick on it.
Hansel Robles is warming up for the Mets, and Smoke, boy, got under it.
Yeah, that ball's going to start hooking, and it's foul by a lot, but just got out in front of it.
The 2-2 outside, full count, and Familia is also starting to warm for New York. No hurry right now as Leathersich is working in the 8th. Foul back.
He will challenge you. You can see him. He's pumping that fastball in there against Justin Smoke.
He's in the 2011 Major League Draft, selected by the Mets in the 5th round. Leathersich. He's another young player, 24. 3-2 up high. Just joined Jamie Campbell once again. He's got an update. Jose Reyes steps to the plate, and first time tonight he's had an indifferent reaction from the crowd. Maybe because the home team is up by a run now.
Yeah, they smell victory.
Yeah.
And they want to win. He doesn't play for the Mets anymore. Here's a chance, though, to do something against this former organization right here. He's got a little bit more power, I think, from the left side. He's a switch hitter. Right side, more of a fly ball type of swing. To hit a home run, he's got to hit that ball down and in.
Yields a strike, fastball, 1-1 strike. 1 out, and the man on first is Smoke. Fastball high.
Well, you got to believe that this is his last batter right here with the right-handed power coming up for the Blue Jays.
Reyes. The third. Little trouble getting out of the glove. They're only going to get one. They'll get the force at second. As Tejada just seemed to have a little issue pulling the ball out of his glove. Maybe was waiting at second for Herrera.
He reached into that glove and just could not get the grip on it. A quick one hopper to the third baseman, and that's tailor-made right there. And it's also going to bring Terry Collins out to the mound. One more time, right at the third baseman. He catches it quickly, and watch, he goes in, he just doesn't have it. It's moving around in that glove, and by the time he gets that ball over to second base, you can see the timing was just messed up, and Smoke was able to take out that runner. So the inning continues, and the Mets have to go to the bullpen.
Leatherich goes to third. Familia is running in from the bullpen. Mets lead by 1. There's Jetty's Familia, and he now goes to the mound. Pretty good numbers on him through 29 games.
Well, he's got 19 for 20 in saves this year. He's tied for fourth in Major League with those saves. He suffered that first blown save back on May 18th. 19 for 20. He's got a very good arm. The closer now, they call him the man here. 6'4", 230. He's got a fastball, two-seamer that's 95, and a four-seamer that can reach 100 miles an hour. And they've really stretched him out a few times, trying to find a bridge to the ninth inning. He's had to have 4-out saves a couple of times this year, and here's another one. If they're going to win it, he's going to have to record 4 outs.
Another young arm, 25 years of age. Familia with a breaking ball for a strike. He was on the mound on Friday against Atlanta when his wife went into labor. Gave birth, so he is a Familia man.
Yeah, got the save, went to the hospital.
Josh Donaldson, and right now Familia paying a fair bit of attention to Jose Reyes. 9 stolen bases in 10 attempts. Right-hander pounds it in 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, there's that good fastball right there. We were talking about 4-out saves. He just had one yesterday for the Mets right here. They just haven't found the guy they need to get him to the ninth inning. So Terry Collins, the manager, just said, okay, you're the guy, you're the man. We're going to have you stretched down a little bit more.
And he gets him. Donaldson down swinging, leaving Reyes at first. Through 7.5, the Mets lead by 1. Let's check in the Blue Jays Central with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.
Ignite bundles. Find out how. Call 1-888-ROGERS-1 now. Hurry. Offer ends soon.
Citi Field, home of the New York Mets, and Steve Delabar goes to the hill in relief of Mark Buehrle.
You know, like the rest of the bullpen, who has really pitched well lately, Steve Delabar has pitched well. There are his numbers in 13 games this year, 2-0 with a 142 earned run average, and the strikeouts are starting to spike back up for Delabar. He is averaging 10 per 9 innings now, and the command and control is starting to come under considerable, much better for Delabar. He's only had 5 walks this year.
And facing the top third of the order, Agares, Tejada, and Kadire. Valencia now playing at second. As he goes in, pinch hit for Ryan Goins as they tried to get something going. On the top of the 8th. Here we are, bottom of the 8th. Mets leading by 1. Blue Jays 11-game win streak. on the line. Lagares doubled and scored. Drove in the first run of the game. That was after the error by Reyes that put Milwaukee on first. Sacrifice bunt by Syndergaard moved him to second, and then Lagares brought him home. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lagares chops it foul down the third baseline. After the Lagares double, there was a double by Tejada that brought in the second and go-ahead runs. And that was the run scoring in the 6th inning for the Mets.
And that has been it. That has been the scoring for the teams after the Bautista home run. The Mets have shut out the Jays since the 1st inning.
Down swinging goes Lagares.
You know, and lost in all of that is the fine job that Mark Buehrle did. 7 innings, he gave up just 4 hits, 2 runs, only 1 of them was earned because of the error, a walk, and 5 strikeouts for Buehrle. He had his consecutive scoreless streak on the road snapped with those 2 runs. He had pitched 22 consecutive scoreless innings on the road until the Mets struck for 2 runs there in the 6th inning. But another fine job for Buehrle.
Delabar now facing Tejada. First ball hitting. Encarnacion in foul territory. Pulls it down for the second out. And you've been talking about the bullpen. I know that you've been incredibly impressed with it over the last little while. Since the beginning of June, it's been so good.
I think it goes hand in hand with the starters going a little bit deeper into the game and pitching a lot better. Then you only need, 1 or 2 relievers to finish off the starters. They get their proper rest, and then good things like this happen. The ERA is 3rd best, opponent's batting average, whip, walks, extra base hits, all in the top 2. I mean, it goes hand in hand when you get good starting pitching. I think the bullpen then gets the proper rest, and they're in their proper spots, and they don't blow out, wear down, put up good numbers.
Swing at the slider, and it's 0-2 as Delabar's ahead. He came in and struck out Lagares. Got Tejada to pop up into foul territory down the first base line. Now facing Kadire ahead 0-2. Kadire gets under it, and this will drift back to the right.
Steve's not real happy with himself. Delabar looked like a split finger pitch right there, and he left it up. And as soon as that ball was fouled back, he knew he got away with a mistake, and he pounded his glove. You want to get that ball down so he swings over the top of it.
The 0-2 driven to right field, and Bautista just has to drift a little to his right. It's a 1, 2, 3, 8th inning for Steve Delabar. But going now to the 9th inning, the Blue Jays trail by 1. Bautista, Encarnacion, Colabello due up. best-selling car 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
The only run for the Blue Jays is thanks to this home run by Jose Bautista. This was the first inning, 3-1 fastball, and he turns on it. Off of Noah Syndergaard, deep to left field. Bautista's 12th home run of the season. The drive of the game tonight for the Blue Jays. Brought to you by Jose Bautista, and we're hoping for some more of that here.
It looked like it was going to hold up for a long time the way Buehrle was going through the Mets lineup. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Colabello here in the 9th inning against Chadris. And this one, fly ball, it is gone. He's done it again. Bautista with a home run, and it's tied at 2. That one just got out.
That was a laser down the left field line. It looks like Jose Bautista is starting to heat up. Jeurys Familia doesn't give up many home runs. That's just the 3rd home run he's given up this year. But Familia, first pitch, Bautista turns on it.
Just got over the railing. And now 2 home runs, number 12 and 13 for Bautista. Game is tied.
How about this? Inside part of the plate, and he is able to keep that ball fair. He knows he's got the distance on that one. Well, that got out of here in a hurry. You know, we were talking last inning that Familia had thrown an inning and a third in yesterday's game through 19 pitches. Got the 1 out in the 8th inning. Now trying to save it here in the 9th, and he'll be charged with the blown save as Bautista's one swing gets the Blue Jays all even.
Oh! That's twice Encarnacion's been knocked down. That one even closer. Familia.
Well, he's looking for something out over the plate, and he dusts him. Up and in.
(3-0).
You know, I was looking at his scouting report for Familia, and it says will pitch inside. He's got a strong arm, and he's not afraid to pitch inside.
Well, he did. Boy, did he ever. Encarnacion sends this shallow right field. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Encarnacion rolls around first, headed to second, slides in safely. A double for Encarnacion. So he may have been down on the dirt, but he got up and hits a double.
That was double all the way. Curtis Granderson, the right fielder, was playing deep. And Encarnacion down the line. He recognizes that this ball is going to drop in there, and he's thinking 2 as soon as he hits it. Granderson wasn't going to get it. The only guy who could was Duda, and by that time it was too late. There's Lucas Duda, the first baseman, run that thing down. And the Blue Jays are digging that.
Carrera coming in now to pinch run for Encarnacion.
And after a short meeting, they all break it up. They're going to talk about defense right here.
Tied at 2, nobody out, runner in scoring position. It's Carrera who's come in to pinch run for Encarnacion and Colabello. A single and 2 strikeouts. Familia hits him with a slider. Strike 1. Second home run of the night for Jose Bautista. Ties the game against New York.
Against their best reliever. He had thrown 11 2/3 scoreless innings over his past 9 games, coming into this one before the Blue Jays struck here in the 9th.
Colabello fights that off, and it pops up right to the first baseman Duda for the first out.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
A little soft liner to Duda, and Colabello's the first out in the 9th inning. Leonardo Navarro starts to dig in. Struck out twice and grounded out. They had the shift on for him, and it's on again.
A few more holes, though. It's not that exaggerated shift as the shortstop plays right behind the runner, Carrera.
Familia delivers up high. Blue Jay fans want to get the action. Big cut by Navarro.
You know, you might get one shot against a reliever like Familia. And this is it right here. After that bloop double, and you've got some speed out there at second base. So you're going to have to read a base hit into the outfield. Get a good secondary lead. As soon as that ball is hit, if you read base hit, you got to go because Luis Rivera is going to send him. He knows he might only have this one shot here to score this run.
1 ball, 1 strike. Navarro fouls it back. It's the screening in behind home plate.
There's just 1 out right now, so you don't want to get too big of a secondary lead where you get doubled off on a line drive. But you must, it's imperative that you read that line drive into the outfield. Take a look at where the outfielders are playing. So you can get a read. The right fielder, Granderson, is very deep. The center fielder, Oliveras, is very shallow.
The 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Came inside on Navarro. At second is Carrera. Pinch running for Encarnacion, who hit a double after the solo homer by Bautista that tied the game up. Navarro sends it foul left side. An 11-game win streak for the Blue Jays. They got into the 9th down by 1 and again find a way. Generate a run. Thank you, Mr. Bautista. That's instant run.
It's one swing of the bat run right now. Now they got to get one more in.
2-2s inside. Dances Navarro away. Familia now with 17 pitches. Came in. Got the last out. Striking out Donaldson in the 8th. Now here working in the 9th. Gave up a leadoff homer run to Bautista. Runner at second. 3-2. Loses them. Runners at first and second. A walk for Navarro. Kevin Pillar takes a couple of swings. He gets ready to go. 2 on, 1 out. Top of the 9th. Blue Jays have come back to tie it 2-2. Down low. Fastball missing just below the knees, and Plawecki comes out to talk to Familia.
A couple other things now. As base runners, you got to think about breaking up the double play if Pillar hits a ball on the ground because he runs so well. So that runner at first base, Deanna Navarro's got to think about that. Maybe busting up the double play, keep the inning going. Carrera, same thing. Watch the line drive. The infield is shortened up. They're in double play depth. Good eye.
2 fastballs from Familia to Pilar. Russell Martin takes his warm-up off.
You're always thinking, you're always wondering, keying in where that pitcher spot is in the lineup. After Pilar, it's Valencia, and then the pitcher spot.
Two-0 to Pilar. Finds the strike zone there with a fastball. 2-1. Little head shake from Pilar. I don't think he was convinced. Outside, 3-1. Breaking ball missing. Big cut.
97 with some sink. Right there. Familia was a Mets free agent signing back in 2007 from the Dominican Republic. And he likes to attack those hitters. Comes right after him with that fastball. He is a power reliever.
Full count to Pilar. 2 on, 1 out. 1 run has scored in the top of the 9th. Pilar keeps the at-bat alive.
This guy's throwing in the upper 90s and it's moving. I mean, that ball's got some nice sink to it. Certainly isn't straight.
Another payoff pitch coming to Pilar. It's a slow roller foul. Third base side.
Keeps topping that fastball. Just getting on top of it. He's waiting for him to get that ball up just a little bit more, but it's a nice long at bat. Make that closer of the Mets throw a lot of pitches.
25 pitches right now for Familia since coming in to close out the 8th. Fifth batter he's faced here in the 9th. The 3-2. Pilar reaches out, sends it to second. There's one, and not in time. Standing at third is Carrera. They were able to get one. Good speed down the line by Pilar.
Yeah, the infield had shortened up for the double play. But Kevin just runs too well. The Mets cannot turn the double play. To the second baseman. Thought he might want to tag Navarro there, but the flip. And Navarro goes into him. It really didn't disrupt him at all. It's just Pilar just outran the baseball.
Go ahead run at third. Pilar's at first, 2 out. Danny Valencia flied out when he came in to pinch hit for Ryan Goins. Takes the strike.
Keep an eye on Kevin Pilar at first base.
Ground ball foul down the third baseline. And now Valencia 0-2 the count, 2 away.
Blue Jays can elect to try and steal a run here. Now that Valencia is behind in the count. Pilar steals second. If they throw through, maybe Carrera can steal a run.
Pilar's on the move, swing and a miss, and Familia gets a fist pump, but still a little upset at himself because of the leadoff home run from Jose Bautista. He stepped in, let her rip down the left field line. It is tied at 2, headed to the 9th.
Friday, June 19th, noon to 1:30. He'll be at the Jays shop at Toronto Eaton Center. No lineups prior to 10 a.m., just one autograph per person and no posed photos. Great opportunity to meet one of the greatest Blue Jays of all time. Rob?
I think he'd like the way this game is shaping up. 2-2. Chris Colabello goes to first base. Taking over from Encarnacion, who was pinch run for by Carrera. And Carrera will take Colabello's previous spot, and that is in left field. Ezequiel Carrera is there. Colabello at first. And on the hill, Roberto Osuna.
Osuna trying to send this one into extra innings. There, 27 games already now for Roberto Osuna. 1-2 record, a very fine 220 earned run average. An excellent whip. You can see the numbers have been very good for Osuna. He is going to have to deal with the middle of the lineup of the New York Mets. Duda, fourth, and then the pitcher spot here in the bottom of the ninth.
Duda called out on strikes, double to right, and ground out to first. His 3 trips to the plate, facing Osuna. Shift is on. Shallow right field is Valencia. You see Reyes. Other side of second, and Donaldson is the lone man on the left side of the infield. Osuna delivers, and that's fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball. High fly into right field, and Bautista calls for it and makes the out. Well, after this ball game, we'll be going to Sportsnet Central with a preview. Here's Ivanka Osmak and Ken Reed. Thank you, Ken and Ivanka. Our terrific picture of the Stanley Cup and the Conn Smythe Trophy going through the X-ray machine at the airport. Those two trophies are in the building. And as the Hawks try to close it down, start the party at the Madhouse on Madison. Wilmer Flores trying to get a party going here at Citi Field. Tied at 2. Osuna got the first Banduda. Did it flat out to right. Flores is 0 for 3. Grounded out twice. He called out on strikes. Fastball finds strike zone.
On top of being 95 miles an hour, he's painting it on the outside corner. Again, this is the Mets' best home run threat. He leads them with 10 home runs.
Foul back.
So keep that ball away from him.
The 11-game win streak has put the Jays right in the mix in the American League East, and that's what they're trying to do, stay in that mix. Yankees and Tampa Bay share the lead. Toronto in second, 1 game back. Baltimore took a bit of a stumble yesterday. They're 2.5 back.
And the Yankees are losing tonight to Miami, 2-1. They're playing in the 9th inning.
This one set foul down the right side. Two sent to straightaway center field, and tracking it Pilar, and he makes the second out. 2 fly ball outs by Osuna. And now Siciliani will come in.
Harold Siciliani is their best pinch hitter. He has had 11 chances this year. He's had 3 base hits. He's also driven in a run. He is a rookie, 24 years old, a 4th-round pick in 2009. He actually hit a home run as a pinch hitter.
It's a big hack at the first pitch from Osuna, changeup. Another young player on this Mets team.
Yeah, there's plenty of them, aren't there?
Everybody has to be carded.
There's a lot more coming for this team. They are well stocked. Here's a young one out on the mound. Guy hitting's 24. This guy pitching is 4 years younger.
Great composure. One ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Bottom of the 9th inning.
That's a good fastball. I mean, that's got some carry right through the strike zone.
Down in the strike zone. Fastball, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3 calls. Osuna does his job as he gets Siciliani looking. A 1-2-3 ninth. How about a little extra inning action for you against the Mets?
Jose Bautista. This bomb in the first inning went 426 feet, got the Blue Jays off, and now they were down a run in the ninth inning. He leads off with this one right down the line, 355 feet. It's a multi-home run game for Jose Bautista, his second of the season. He had one back on June the 7th versus Houston. It's the 8th one by the Blue Jays this year. Jose Bautista accounting for all the runs tonight for the Blue Jays.
And Bautista with 2 home runs, numbers 12 and 13. But it is Russell Martin who'll face the new pitcher on the mound for the Mets, Hansel Robles.
Robles, there are his numbers in 19 games. He doesn't walk anybody either. His pitches with that fastball into the mid-90s. His best pitch is a sinker. It's the best in Mets organization. And Russell Martin will get the first shot at him.
Yeah, he has had a pretty good weekend. Can continue it going into the week. We saw bases clearing triple. We saw a home run. He gets under it, sends it to the right side. Foul territory, running in after it. Nice play. Duda tracked it down. Little slide there to make the out.
He was playing deep, just to knock down anything on the infield, so he had a long way to go. The ball wasn't hit that high by Martin. You can see it wasn't caught in the glove. He actually caught that against his body and with his wrist, but records the out. A nice play to start the 10th.
Jose Reyes trying to extend his hit streak and get something going for the Jays here in the 10th.
Jose not happy with that one. He's been called a couple of times on a low strike like that. You can see pitch tracker. That one's just off the plate.
Reach base on a fielder's choice in the 8th.
And you can see Jose shaking his head. He said, now I got to swing at everything. If you're going to call that low one, you got to swing at the high one.
The 0-2 ground ball right to the shortstop, to the third baseman rather, up with it very quickly is Tejada, and very quickly down goes the Jays shortstop, Reyes. Five trips to the plate for Reyes and not able to extend his hit streak. Now Donaldson with 2 outs steps in. He's 0 for 4. 2 fly ball outs to right. He called out on strikes and went down swinging.
He's been a hero already this year, Josh Donaldson. Can he do it again? He loves these situations right here where you can be the hero.
Robles missed twice, 2-0. Got Martin to pop up in foul territory. Reyes grounded out to third. Ground ball by Donaldson. Scooped up, turning, making the play. That's all for the Blue Jays. 3 up, 3 down as Flores makes the play to the bottom of the 10th, tied at 2. Welcome to Queens, New York, City Field, and Aaron Loop. Bottom of the 10th. We'll try to keep the Mets quiet.
What a game this has been. Back and forth we go, 2-2, bottom of the 10th inning, and now the third reliever of the night for the Blue Jays. Steve Delabar was perfect. Roberto Osuna was perfect last inning. Now Aaron Loop gets his shot. 29th game of the season for Loop. An outstanding whip at 0.95. He has been throwing a lot more quality strikes over the last week or so, and he will face the bottom of the order of the New York Mets here in the 10th inning.
Dilson Herrera making his way to the batter's box. Herrera singled his last at-bat, so he's 1 for 3, 2 ground ball outs. The Canadian flag is in the house. Fans holding it high. Blue Jays 11-game win streak in the balance, tied at 2. Different look now for the Mets batters with the left-hander.
You know, that's the thing with interleague play. You just don't play these teams enough, and you're just not familiar with the pitchers, and you get these types of games like this. Relievers coming in, bullpens are deep. I'm just not familiar with what they have, what they throw, and it usually takes an error or a home run to win these types of games.
Well, that was the case on the weekend in Boston. Russell Martin did that in the 11th inning.
Everybody has been used for the Blue Jays now, with Russell Martin's pinch hit appearance last inning.
1-2. Got him. Loop gets Herrera looking.
That crossfire action right there with that fastball. Right-handers, they're looking out over the plate, and he freezes them. With that fastball in her half, good job by Navarro to hold it right there for the home plate umpire.
Blue Jays pitchers now have fanned 8. Kevin Plawecki, the catcher. Reach base on an error in the 6th. That was the 2-run 6th. Turned things around for the Mets. Scored on an RBI double by Lagares. Behind the plate is Mike Winters. He had to take over. Marty Foster took a foul tip in the mask in the 3rd inning and had to leave. Winters went in behind the plate. He was the scheduled second base umpire. Ground ball. Reyes. Plenty of time to make the play across. 2 down. So Foster had to leave the game. Winters moved behind the plate. Muchlinski and Wegner stayed in their spots at 1st and 3rd.
Well, this isn't foreign territory right here for umpires. They know the rotations now with 3 umpires. You see nobody out at second base tonight, but it's not that big a deal. They can deal with it. They've done it before.
Shift is on for Granderson. Went down in the 7th swinging. Turns on it, fouls at first base side, rolls up and into the crowd, and everybody wants a souvenir. Only one gets it. Comes back with a fastball for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It has been tough on the left-handers this season. You can see the quality of those pitches.
Loop looks in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Bottom of the 10th.
Anderson's familiar with what Aaron Loop features from his days with the New York Yankees. He has faced Aaron 6 times. He's got a couple of base hits, so he's going to have to make a pitch here on 3-2.
Broken bat. Goes to the shift, and Reyes finishes it off as he was in the right spot to Colabello. So Reyes to Colabello, and it's a 1-2-3 for Loop. We head to the 11th.
With the New York Mets. This is also a very emotional time for John Gibbons. He spoke very highly of the New York Mets today. He said they gave him his chance as a player, they gave him his chance as a coach, and while he never played here, he was over at Shea Stadium. He said it brought back a lot of memories coming here to Queens, New York. He says he'll always feel to be a part of a Met just because of the way his career began. I wonder, Pat, is that something a lot of players do, always have that feeling for the team that their career began with?
Certainly. You're drafted, you're developed in an organization, and then you come up to the big leagues, and when you come back, you feel that special feeling. You know what you really want to do is you want to beat your former organization. That's what you want to do.
Well, the man at the plate has beaten up on the baseball twice. 2 solo homers. Now has 13 on the season, 40 runs batted in, both in the left field. Both left quickly. One 426 feet, the other 355.
When he hits them, they seem to come in bunches. Robles has only given up 1 home run in 15 innings this year. He's got that sinker and he keeps the ball down, so it's going to be tough to leave the yard.
Blue Jays started things off with Bautista's solo homer in the first. Held up until 2 runs by the Mets in the 6th. Blue Jays got it back in the 9th. Ground ball hit hard to short. Plenty of time to make the throw across as Flores gets Bautista.
You can see how Robles has that sinker. It gets a lot of ground balls. That's 3 in a row now. Tough to get the ball in the air.
Ezequiel Carrera will now get an at-bat. He came into pinch run for Encarnacion. Stayed in, played right, in left field rather. Fouls the first offering back. Fastball from Robles, now working to his 2nd inning. Torres, Leathersich, Familia, and now Robles following up Syndergaard. Syndergaard went 6, 1 run, 2 hits, struck out 11, and walked 2.
You're going to face the Mets. You're going to be running into some good pitching. You're going to have to figure out a way to score runs. Small ball, if you will, maybe a stolen base can come into play. They just don't give up that many hits.
0-2 sails away. And there's tomorrow's starter, Matt Harvey, 6-4, 3.62 ERA. But he's had 2 bad outings. Trying to get back on track. He'll try to do that tomorrow against the Jays. Fouled away by Carrera. Scott Copeland going to get another start. Aaron Sanchez on the DL. Slider misses inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes here in the 11th. Inside again. Counts full, 3-2.
Got to challenge him now, doesn't he? Got to throw a fastball.
The 3-2. Fouled back. Carrera keeps us at bat going.
Robles pitched in yesterday's ball game for the Mets just 2/3 of an inning. Only threw 10 pitches, so he's fresh, working on his 2nd inning of work tonight.
(3-2) up high, 1-out walk. Carrera heads the first.
They used 5 relievers in yesterday's ball game. And they had to call up an extra arm, a fresh arm from A-ball, all the way from the Florida State League, because the bullpen has really been overworked lately.
Akil Morris, one of their another young hopeful.
Let's see if the Blue Jays can take advantage of it.
Yesterday, Bobby Parnell got some work in. Sean Gilmartin. Runner at first. Chris Colabello. And Robles tosses over to keep Carrera close.
You know, that's one part of the Jays offense that goes unnoticed, is their ability to steal bags. They have 40 stolen bases this year. They've only been caught 7 times. Carrera, the runner over at first base, is 2 for 2 this year in stolen bases.
Colabello singled in the first. He's called out on strikes twice, swinging first time, and then called out in the 7th, and then soft liner first baseman. That in the 9th.
Good cut there. 0-2. He got jammed last time. You mentioned that soft liner to the right side. It looked like he was trying to push the ball to right field. There was a runner at second base and nobody out. He was trying to advance him to third base. And the ball got in on him and hit that soft liner to pop up to the first baseman. Now swing away. You're looking for extra bases right here to try and score that runner from first.
The 0-2.
Off the plate.
You hear the crowd, the 22,000 here, Citi Field. They thought that was tasty.
They wanted it.
Yeah.
They wanted it, but it was off the plate. He's come up with some big hits for the Blue Jays. Can he do it again?
Carrera at first. 1 down. Colabello takes down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Top of the 11th inning.
When do they start the runner? Do you wait till it gets to 3-2? Do you start him right here?
Well, now I think it's going to be 3-2. Now look off the plate again.
I think
he
you
was
start the runner.
0-2.
Yeah, I think you start the runner right here. You take a chance that Colabello's going to make contact. You got to stay out of the double play. You start the runner right here. Make something happen. Maybe open up a hole on the infield and you can roll one through. Just make sure he goes home.
There goes Carrera. Colabello sends it into right field for a base hit. And Carrera goes first to third.
That's why you start the runner right there. So if he hits the ball on the ground, you've got a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. If he happens to find a hole, he can walk over to third base. Sinker down and away, and Colabello stays right with it. Watch the first baseman, Duda, thinks he has a shot at it. It finds its way into the outfield. And Carrera can make it to third base without a throw. Just out of his reach, softly into right field.
And now first and third. Colabello with his second hit of the night. On a little visit.
And everybody's going to talk about this situation right here. Okay, how are we going to pitch to Deanna Navarro? Where do we want to play our defense? You play for the double play.
Ken and Ivanka are watching the proceedings unfolding here, and we'll be right up after the Sportsnet Central. Give you the rundown of Chicago and Tampa Bay.
Now Robles has a good sinker. We've talked about that all night since he has been in there. He gets hitters to chase that slider. What Navarro's got to do now is make him get that ball up. You got to get the ball into the outfield.
And as you mentioned, the youngster called up from A-ball, Akil Morris, is in the pen warming up. Navarro, runners at first and third and 1 out. Blue Jays, Mets tied at 2 here in the top of the 11th. Big cut by Navarro.
He's going to have to cut that down just a little bit. That one was a little bit too long, that swing.
Navarro fouls this one away. Very quickly, Robles is ahead, 0-2.
He went aggressive, fastball, fastball. That one up. Yanner has come up with some big hits for the Blue Jays over the last couple of years. You need to make contact here. Get it into the outfield.
The 0-2. Navarro strokes this to right field. Tagging Carrera. Coming to the plate. It's offline. Blue Jays score 1. A sac fly and going to second was Colabello.
How about that at bat right there by Deanna Navarro? They tried to go upstairs so he would swing through it or pop it up. Cut down that swing and got it deep enough and hit it to the right guy. Curtis Granderson doesn't have the strongest of arms or the most accurate. When the Blue Jays score the tie-breaking run on a sacrifice fly. Remember we were talking about small ball?
You know, they do the job. Navarro with the sack brings home Carrera. Blue Jays now with a 3-2 lead.
And how about the base running by Colabello? Tagging up on that fly ball to right field.
Well, they threw it back to third just in case Carrera may have left early, but very quickly Mike Winters said no, it's all good. Colabello's at second. 2 away. And Kevin Pillar steps in.
You know, first and third tag situation. Both runners tag. What you're doing as a runner at first base, you're forcing them to cut the ball. And if they don't, you're in scoring position. Heads up play right there.
Pillar, little excuse me swing. Robles up with it and will finish it off himself, and that finishes off the top of the 11th. But the Blue Jays get a run. They've got a 3-2 lead heading to the bottom of the 11th with the streak on the line. Cecil on this road swing. He's had 2 saves.
The last one coming a couple of days ago in Boston. Picked up that 4th save in 5 opportunities. There are his numbers in 23 games this year. Curveball has been very good. His fastball, his changeup have been good. You can see he's averaging over a strikeout per inning. That save was a couple of days ago in the 11th inning. Or that 11th inning game that the Blue Jays won. Souza picked up that 4th save, and he saved it for Aaron Loop, who was the winner, trying to do the exact same thing here tonight.
5th pitcher for John Gibbons and the Blue Jays. And here's the man behind the plate. Sac fly by Yonder Navarro. Brought home Carrera and gave the Blue Jays a 1-run lead to the bottom of the 11th. Juan Lagares, 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Starts with a strike and an off-speed pitch too by Cecil.
Starts with the curveball. Lagares, he goes up there, leadoff hitter. He's looking for that fastball early. So the Blue Jays crossed him up.
In tight. 2 balls and 1 strike. Blue Jays have won 11 straight games, equaling the franchise mark. I'm trying to go to a new page in the book. 2-1. Lagares hits it. Colabello makes the run, dives in the first.
Oh boy. What a play by Chris Colabello. You can see Lagares, the frustration he has. He thought he had himself a leadoff single. But Cabello playing off the line, sharply hit, and he snags it. And then sees that there's no chance for the pitcher to get over there. He takes it himself with a dive, and he finishes it off. What a play to start the 11th.
Does he get credit for stolen base too?
He gets credited with a great play. That's a star.
Well, you got it. Brett Cecil gets the first one. Ruben Tejada. He had an RBI double in that 2-run 6 by the Mets. Sends it foul.
You know, sometimes you see teams have their first baseman play on the line, so no doubles, but the Blue Jays do it right again. They play him off the line. He makes a sensational play and then finishes it with the dive at first base. It's always important to get that first batter of an inning.
The lefty taking a look at it. Good look at it was Tejada, and then he held up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Inside, 2-1.
Try to keep that ball in the big part of this ballpark. Fastballs away, and just let him hit fly balls to center field or to right field. That's the biggest part.
2-1 up high, now 3-1.
He's only got 1 home run, Tejada. So you don't want to come inside. You throw it right down the middle or away. Make him just hit fly balls to the deepest part of the ballpark.
Fastball missing. And a 1-out walk delivered to Tejada. This is what they're trying to do. Right now, they've equaled the franchise record for the longest all-time winning streak. Done in 87, 98, and 13. Trying to put a new number at the top of that list.
And you can see the look on John Gibbons' face. He knows these numbers right here. Right now, it's just churning.
Michael Kadire. Man on first, 1 out. 0 for 4. Two fly ball outs, 2 ground outs.
He looked like he was trying to end it with 1 swing.
Bottom of the 11th inning, Blue Jays leading 3-2. First of 4 against the Mets, 2 in Citi Field, and then off to Rogers Center. Here's Kadire. 1 out, 1 on. Cecil misses again, 2-1.
That one all the way out of his hand. The outfield is very deep for Michael Kadire. They want no doubles. It's the tying run at first base. The go-ahead run at the plate is Pete Walker.
Got people running now to the bullpen. 2-2.
It's a big pitch right here. See who it is. You've got a left-hander on deck in Duda and a right-hander in Flores.
Liam Hendricks is getting up. Just took up his warm-up jersey.
That's a hurry and get ready. As he is running out there and now starting to throw.
The 2-2. This could be 2. There's 1. Didn't get the other as he took a little too much time, Valencia, waiting on Tejada. 2 down.
Well, that's okay. That's what the runner is supposed to do. Get in a rundown. He gets in front of him and then starts pushing him back, but then gets the out. Gets the 1 out, and now Cecil has to finish it off with Lucas Duda.
And shift comes on. Valencia goes into shallow right. Reyes comes over second base side. Donaldson on the left. Kadire's at first. Lucas Duda. 1 for 4. Goes after it.
That's how you jump ahead right there. He's got a great curveball. His curveball has been very good lately. And he's not afraid to throw it when he's behind in the count.
Didn't get that one. 1 ball, 1 strike with that curveball.
Boy, the outfield is really deep now. Duda's got extra base pop in that bat. He's got 9 home runs and 28 driven in. You can see Pilar almost to the warning track in center field. The same with Bautista in right field. And Carrera the same way.
1-1.
They want to keep everything in front of them.
Two balls, 1 strike. Bottom of the 11th. Man on. 2 out. Comes right back at him again with a curveball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Listen, fastball. He's throwing 4 straight breaking balls.
Blue Jays with a 1-run lead in the 11th inning. Everybody in the Blue Jays dugout standing and waiting.
Everybody behind the Blue Jays dugout, all the Blue Jay fans getting fired up.
Brett Cecil on the mound. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Kadire at first.
He tried, threw 4 straight breaking balls. He tried to slip a fastball by him, but it was just off the plate.
You had to have a Blue Jay fan gritting your teeth, huh?
Well, he pitches backwards sometimes. In a curveball count, he throws a fastball. Now this could be a fastball count. He might throw the curveball.
Full count to Lucas Duda. 2 out. Jays lead by 1. Fly ball, left field. Coming in, it will drop in front of Carrera. And the runner comes home. The throw and not able to handle it. The Mets tie it up.
There's the one time right there, Rob, where playing the outfield that deep backfires on you. You don't want any doubles, and you want to keep everything in front of you, but that blooper just down the line keeps it going. No chance for Carrera to get that one. I mean, that's just bad luck right there. It looked like they had a shot to get Kadire, who was running on that play. Watch this. It's a good pitch. It is a curveball. It's right off the end of the bat. Yeah, and there goes Kadire, and he still had a chance. Carrera comes up, barehands it, gets it to the cutoff man, but it's fumbled. They had a shot, but it is fumbled. If they're holding the runner on, he doesn't get that large of a lead. And he's hustling all the way as he dumps it in and ties this ball game up. And there's going to be a pitching change after he crosses the plate. Wow.
3-3. Cecil is done. The Mets come with a little magic in extra innings. for the Blue Jays.
You know, he made a great pitch. 3-2 breaking ball to a left-handed hitter, and look where he hits it. Again, the outfield is playing very deep. They don't want any doubles, but they dropped the ball in front of them, and they still had a shot. But the ball is fumbled, and it's still tied. Yes, you're disappointed that you are one strike away from the W. Now, you got to crank it back up again.
And now Duda, who went to second on the throw, is in scoring position. Liam Hendricks on the mound.
Here are the numbers for Hendricks: 2-0 and 307 earned run average and 29 in the third innings. Got a couple of right-handers coming up.
Starting with Wilmer Flores. On ball, up the middle, getting the wave. Duda coming around the throw, not in time. And it's the Mets who win in extra innings. And the Blue Jays win streak is over at 11.
Yeah, it's something that the Blue Jays during that win streak was doing to the opposition. Walk-off wins. And those are tough right there. You're one pitch away from a W. You do everything right, and you still end up losing the game. You have to walk off as the Mets celebrate the win. Looked like a breaking ball. First pitch, and Wilmer Flores sends it right back through the middle, and he doesn't hit it very hard. So it took Pilar a long time to get to that ball, and an easy run at the plate as the Mets celebrate the W, their 35th of the season.
Sunflower seed shower. As the hero on this night is Wilmer Flores driving home Duda. The Mets end the Blue Jays win streak at 11 with a 4-3 win in extra innings. They'll do it again tomorrow. Let's send it to Sportsnet Central. Ken and Ivanka.